Okay, guys, we might get started. It's 4:05. So as I said before, welcome to this Wednesday workshop session about having a sense of certainty with your application at PSC this year. As I said before, my name's Steph. I'm one of the future students coordinators here at PSC, and I'm also the unfortunate recipient of a strong bout of hiccups today. So if you hear a little bit of weird audio going on, apologies. So let's get straight into it. If anyone has any questions along the way, feel free to shout out, or you can type it into the chat box as well, and we'll just answer them as we go. It's a pretty casual session, so don't be shy to ask anything that might pop up as we go along. So first up, I'm just going to share my screen with all of you. So we know for everyone that this year has been very, very challenging. It's not been like any other year, and I know a lot of you guys, even some of you who are here today, are probably in year 12. I've been through year 12, and I cannot imagine what it would be like going through that with a pandemic as well. So with the whole uncertainty of this year, we do want to give you some form of certainty for next year. And the way that we're doing that is to try and make it as easy for you as possible to sort of understand what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be getting into a course. So this year does not need to be a write-off. Next year. This year we're already mostly done. So we're a very small school here at PSC. We care about each and every one of you. You're not just a number on a list. We do build up a relationship with you guys as we sort of get to know you through the whole application, interview, and enrollment process. And so we've kind of made a few little changes this year as to how that all goes about, but that level of care is still definitely there. So we're here to support you for that transition into your tertiary studies. So as always at PSC, we never look at your ATAR. That doesn't matter to us at all. We are all about the interview. I remember when I had my interview, I was really nervous, as you might expect, but it was definitely not as I don't want to use the word awful, but it was definitely not as awful as I thought it was going to be. It was very relaxed. It was very friendly. My interviewer was Joe Duck, who is now working all around the world shooting fashion and commercial and amazing stuff. You should go check her out. She is one of PSC's graduates. And we ended up talking about food for like 15 minutes or so, and then talking about my work. It was very comfortable. So even if you might be feeling a little bit nervous about your interview, it's really chill. It's very relaxed. We also are obviously doing these via Zoom at the moment with the current situation, and this will continue into next year, even when the lockdown finishes. If it's easier for you to do your interview via Zoom, then of course you can. And that's open for all year 12 applicants and also mature age applicants as well. And with the interview, it's definitely more focused on yourself and your personality, and sort of we want to find out about you and what it is that you like photographing. So it's not about looking for, you know, someone who knows everything about photography and their skills are amazing and like they've shot for 700 different magazines. Because then what are we going to teach you, you know? We want to know about your passion, what you're interested in, and we can teach you all of those skills. That's why you're coming into a photography course, but we can't teach you that love for photography and that like desire to take pictures. So that's what we're mostly looking for with the interview. So that you have a lot more certainty this year, we're also accepting direct applications, both from year 12 students and from mature age students as well. Or if you didn't finish year 12 this year or you finished last year, you can apply directly too. That's all done through our website. So with the interviews this year, traditionally you might have had to wait, you know, a week or so to see if your interview had been successful. But this year we have a conditional admissions offer, which means that within 48 hours of a successful interview, you'll get a conditional offer. And what that means is we would love to offer you a place in the course. The conditional part of the conditional offer is that you do complete year 12 VCE or the equivalent of that. Okay, so next up we've got the VTAC applications. So I've spoken to a few people so far that have said that maybe their careers teachers or their school is making them do a VTAC application, and that's definitely a way that you can apply as well. You can do one or the other. You can come to us directly, you can come to us through VTAC, either way is fine. And with the VTAC application as well, you'll get an early conditional offer. So like I said before, if you interview next week, for example, we do have a lot of people interviewing next week, you will, if successful with your interview, receive this conditional letter of offer. And that means that if you do complete VCE, which you should, we're happy to send you an offer. We want you to come to our school. So one thing that I would like to kind of go into a little bit of detail here is the way that the VTAC system works, because I know it can be quite confusing. And I know that when I was in year 12, I really didn't understand what was going on with all of the preferences and everything like that. So the important thing to think about with VTAC is the order in which you put down the courses that you'd like to apply for or get into, because you can only receive one offer at a time when the VTAC offers come out. So what that kind of means is, you know, you've got to put the one that you really want to do the most at the top of the list and then rank them in order, because it does actually matter. I know that when I was applying, I thought that I'd get an offer from all of the different schools that wanted to give me an offer. And, you know, like in the movies, you'd be jumping on the bed and there's offers kind of floating around, you know, as you celebrate. It doesn't happen like that. You just get one. So make sure that whatever it is that you want to do most is at the top of your list. And you have a lot of time to make changes to your preferences as well. So don't worry if, you know, you change your mind down the track or something like that. So the other thing that a lot of people might be worried about is the work that they have in their folio. And with the whole pandemic and restrictions and not being able to shoot, you know, what you might have wanted to this year, that can be something of concern. So we're more than happy for you to show really any work that you've captured. It doesn't have to be stuff. If you're a year 12 student, it doesn't have to be something you've shot this year. It doesn't have to even be something you've shot for school. So you could present work from year 11, you could present work from year 10, you could present work that's got nothing to do with anything you've done at school, just stuff that you've shot for your own enjoyment. And it doesn't have to be from this year either. It can also be a mixture. So a lot of people get concerned that it has to be maybe just a particular series. It can be a blend of a lot of different types of work. So you might have maybe one image you've taken for year 12 this year that you're really happy with. And then like a couple maybe from year 11, a bunch from when you were doing some creative stuff for yourself over the holidays. It can be a big mixture as well. We also accept different mediums too. So for example, if you don't have a lot of photography, or if you didn't do photography at school, if you wanted to put in maybe some of your drawing work or painting work or sculpture, we do look at all types of creative work too. So any medium is okay. But like I said before, what we care most about is yourself. So don't get too hung up on if the work is good enough or not, because we want to know about you guys. It's a question. Can I show some photos that I have taken on your phone? Oh, at the interview. Good question. So if you've taken photos on your phone and want to show them at the interview, that's of course completely fine. They're still photos, right? So if you don't have like a fancy pants camera, or maybe you haven't had access to your school's cameras this year because of restrictions, if you've got some great iPhone photos or Android or whatever you use, that's fine to either have your entire folio done on the phone, or it could be like a mix as well. So of course that's okay. All right, so basically the admission process is really streamlined. It's always been pretty fluid, but this is how you would go about it. So first is you would apply. As I said before, this can be done through our website directly, or it can be done through VTAC. Everyone comes to stage 2 and has an interview. So we're doing them all via Zoom, as we said just now. With a successful interview, you'll jump over to get an offer. And that offer, if you've applied direct, will be a direct offer, and then you can go and enroll straight away, essentially. But if you've applied through VTAC, then it will be a conditional offer, and the, I suppose, proper offer will come out with the rounds that are dictated by VTAC. After that, you move on to the enrollment stage, and that involves you accepting your offer and then coming in to enroll, which is basically just filling in your enrollment form. And then you're a PSC student, you're part of the family. And we've very quickly arrived at the question and answers section of the briefing. So has anybody got any questions so far? Oh, James has a question. If we receive a conditional offer, do we have to adjust our VTAC preferences? If you receive a conditional offer, that's us saying that, yes, we want you to join our school, we'd love to have you, but then adjusting your preferences is sort of like, yeah, how do I put this clearly? Yes, you'll have to adjust your preferences if you want to accept the real offer. Because if you have, say for example, you have school A in preference 1 and school B in preference 2. If school B really, really likes you and sends you a conditional offer and wants to make you a real offer, but school A also wants to send you an offer, then when the VTAC rounds come out, this is the one that you're going to hear from, because it's essentially blocking the second one. So if you want to get your offer from school B, you've got to change your preferences. That's how that works, if that makes sense. So essentially, yes, if you get a conditional offer and you do want to accept it and get a real offer, then make sure that you've got your preferences in that order. Whitney has a question. How many photos should we show in our interview? That's a good question as well. Usually for the bachelor, we ask for 10 to 15 photos, and for the certificate for around 10 to 12. But we're not going to sit there and count them. It's quite flexible. So if you've got a few more than that or a few less than that, that's okay as well. And like I said before, if they're not all photos, that's all right. If you've got some different mediums in there, that's fine too. What happens after the VTAC offers go out? So you'll get an offer from us if you have us in a high enough preference that we can send you an offer. And then you'll also get notification from VTAC directly saying, oh, you've got an offer from this school. So you'll hear from both of us. Then I will call you when the offers go out and say, hey, congratulations, you received an offer from PSC. That's super exciting. And we'll book you to come in and enroll. So that's essentially how that works. We also usually send you out a text message once they go out. And the time of day, it might not be in the morning of the day the offers go out. For us, for example, last year it was 2 p.m. that the offers went out. It could be similar this year, but I'm not exactly sure of what time it will be. It's very exciting. So keep your phone close by on that day if you're expecting an offer from us. But if you apply directly, of course, you will hear before the VTAC offer. All right. Dan has just jumped in, Daniel Burker-Smith, who is our Dean of Photographic Studies. So he's going to hopefully tell us a little bit more about the Bachelor. Welcome, Dan. Awesome. Hi.
This session is really thinking about applying for the Bachelor program. What happens is after you apply, Steph or Whitney will book you in to do an interview, generally with me. And there, what I will do is I'll talk to you about the program. I'll talk to you about your work. I'll ask you some questions about what you've done previously, and also just talk you through the kind of community of PSC really, and the staff who teach here, what you'll be doing in each year of the course, and also the kind of the professional practice elements of the course that we kind of focus on. Being a small college, we have a big focus on getting students out there working, and making connections with industry, and really working on things like mentor programs where you work with a photographer from out in the industry, and also other programs where we've done kind of group exhibitions and group projects with different partners and organisations like Parks Victoria, The Age, A Big Issue, RACV magazine, a variety of other places. And so really a lot of the stuff that you need to, generally a lot of stuff that you need to kind of think about in terms of making connection to industry, we actually do that throughout the course. Not only because we're kind of connected to the industry and we have lots of photographers who are out there who are graduates, but also the great thing is that most of our staff, all of our staff, are out there working as photographers as well. So it's a very different kind of experience to, say, a larger university experience where you have university lecturers who are full-time delivering classes every day, all week. Our teachers are all photographers. So most of our teachers are part-time. They're out there doing stuff, and you would have seen, if not, you will see the PDF, the course brochure, which is sent out to you, and that has some profiles of staff in there, and also tells you a bit about who they shoot for and what they do. And so a lot of staff will also have students assisting them when they go and do shoots, and helping them out, but also really bring that kind of knowledge about what's needed in photography, in terms of professional practice and in terms of networking and all those things. So you get all of those things as part of the course.
Absolutely. And I guess like that kind of personalized approach to it is something that, like, as a graduate, I found was also in the course as well. So my tutors would always give me suggestions on photographers that suited the style that I was shooting in, or, you know, jobs that I might be like quite good to apply for, things like that. So I think that, you know, being a small school and not a gigantic college that does, you know, like medicine and engineering and nursing, like it is very focused and very tailored towards that personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you think about it, we normally take, you know, just over 50 students per year, 50 to 60 about per year for the bachelor. And usually that group is split into 3 groups. So if you imagine that's about kind of 16, 17 people in a group, if you like, and that's just in the normal classes. And then in the studio classes, for example, sometimes it's even smaller groups because you need that kind of, you know, you need like 8 to 10 people or something in a group. So you can imagine, you know, it's just not financially viable for a large university to be able to offer classes that size, because they would have literally millions of classes happening every day. You know, imagine if you have 30,000 students and you have class sizes of 15 people, it just doesn't work. But for us, we can do that. And I think, you know, not only are you doing photography then for 3 years, but also you're having so much more conversation about photography and so much more hands-on experience and so much more, personalized kind of conversations about your work, that it means that you kind of, the development is like that, you know?
Absolutely.
And so I think that's really important to us. And, you know, I think that's also kind of evidenced in the fact that we still have lots of our graduates hanging around, Steph, for example, but also just in the kind of wider community. You know, we constantly have our graduates coming back and doing talks for us. You know, we've got graduates who are picture editors for publications. We've got graduates who are photojournalists. We've got in Australia and overseas. We've got graduates who are running travel photography companies. We've got graduates who are sports photographers for magazines and newspapers. We've got graduates who are fashion photographers. We've got graduates who are artists who are publishing books. So we have a whole range of graduates ranging from kind of in their early 20s right through to their kind of 50s, you know, and we constantly have them coming back and talking. And, you know, it really helps when you go out into the industry and you mention that you're from PSC, because generally most people have studied at PSC who are out there
Yeah.
doing stuff, you know, so it helps you kind of just to you know, to get those links as well.
Yeah, you become part of a community that, you know, you kind of feel that if, for example, if I were to approach a photographer who was overseas, whose work I really admired, and I knew they went to PSC, that would be my in. I would be, hey, I'm also a PSC graduate.
That's
and
right.
then you've just got this kind of instant bond because you're just part of that community.
Yeah, that's right. And we do really push people to, you know, to, as you know, Steph, to, you know, push people to make contact with people outside of the college and to really build your network and to, you know, to get into your kind of, to get not into your comfort zone, to get out of your comfort zone, within that kind of supportive network, you know, because a lot of the staff are photographers, you know, they have those networks already. So, you know, that gives you a kind of, it gives the students a kind of leeway to get into those areas as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've personally been very surprised at the very positive reactions I've had from people when I've tried, like, the first time to connect with them in that way. I've obviously, like, well, not obviously, but I had been expecting rejection or just silence. But instead have had these really warm emails back, like, oh, you're from PSC too. Hey, is XYZ teacher still teaching there? And then it's just like an instant sort of connection, which is great.
That's true.
Thank you to everyone who's joined us today. And a pre-recorded thanks to the people watching us on YouTube at home at a later date. I've popped the link to apply now in the chat box for you guys here in real time, and the link for the apply now is in the description for those of you watching post-recording.
Coming up also is the next workshop, which I think is in 2 weeks, which is to do with storyboards. So we'll be talking to Shara Henderson, who's one of our teachers in the commercial stream of the degree, and it will be how to make a mood board for fashion and fashion photography shoots, if you like. So she's a working commercial photographer working with kind of portraiture and fashion, and so Shara will be talking, and we'll also have one of our graduates who works in that area talking. Yeah,
more fun stuff. This one's more informative. That one's more like, you know, the stuff we all want to do.
Exactly. And you'll get to see Shara's work and the graduates' work as well, and you get to kind of talk to them about what it's like to work in the industry and those sorts of things. So that'll be really, be great.
Yeah. So we'll see you all there.
Right. Thanks, Steph.
Thanks, Dan. And thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon.